Call to order the regular meeting of the Jefferson School Committee on June 10th, 2025, 6 p.m. Roll call: Andy Bernier.
Here.
Wayne Parlin.
Here.
Maria Solorzano.
Here.
Daryl Lehman.
Here.
Myself. Administrators Janet Delmar.
Here.
Todd. And Peter may
Not at the
join
moment.
us
Yep.
at some point. Stand for pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any agenda adjustments?
Nope.
Okay, public comment?
Seeing none?
I see none. Presentations? I don't think we have any today. Can I have an action on the minutes?
So moved.
All in favor? We'll skip the finance report for right now, see if Peter shows up, Todd.
Yep.
We'll go back.
Yep.
John, do you have a facilities report?
Not really a lot to report. He is closed out. Not really a lot to report.
Excellent.
I got a couple of names. The dugouts. What is that? I didn't know they were gonna do that this year.
That was an insurance
Insurance.
when they got blown over.
Oh, cool.
Are we gonna do the ones up back too?
That's something we'll have to work on.
Uh-huh.
You can call NT Hunt and see if we can get them to donate some more, but do that.
But it's been a long time since we had them down there. I don't even remember having them.
Yeah, they're originally,
But I
but
know we have them out here.
when they put them in, they never secured the dugouts to the slabs. They just used concrete nails when they put the footings down.
We should.
They're secured to the slabs on
And we had to replace those. We couldn't replace those in,
one season.
Yeah. or like, insurance was for those, not for
The others.
what, yeah.
Okay,
And if one has, the others have to have as well.
cool. Chair's report. The next regular meeting of the school board will be August 12th. We will skip July's meeting. So August 12th, 2025.
Hopefully we'll skip July's meeting.
Hopefully we'll skip July's meeting. The next meetings of the AOS board is scheduled for August 6th. And Wayne, do you have a AOS 93?
Did not
You
meet,
guys didn't meet,
so
did you?
nope,
Okay.
nothing to report.
All right, Todd?
Yeah, a couple of quick updates. I think I shared with the board about, I know I did because I know Wayne also mentioned about Dominic Patsy coming on board as the special ed director. I've had the opportunity to sit down with him and have several meetings with him. So I'm looking forward to moving forward, working with him. We'll miss Kelly, but I'm looking forward to him joining us. We do have an assistant director vacancy. I'm not sure if the board's aware of that. RC did resign as the assistant director, so that's something Dawn's going to have to tackle. She got out on Vinyl Haven, I think, sped director job. So she's both of our former special education directors are moving on to director jobs. Attended the superintendent's webinar seminar on May 9th. I don't think we met. I think I shared that. What that is, that's Drummond Woodson gives a little snippet. They give you about 10-minute overviews of the hot topics that are going on in education right now. It's free. It's something they do free of charge. The one benefit of it is the attorney will sit with you at lunch, so you get 60 minutes to pick their brain, free of charge as well. But it really just is it's a superficial bullet points of key things that schools are facing right now. So they do that every year. I can tell you, I have a policy review I shared with you, and I know the policy committee is going to talk about it, but I met with Sandy. If you look on your sheets there, the federal policy shifts impacting. Sandy did a really nice job down in South Bristol of going through and identifying, because the changes were very subtle. Remember, I brought to you the title, and they're on here again, but I think the committee is going to recommend that we table it for now, with the recommendation to revert back to your previous policies. Sandy went through and did quite a bit of analysis on these and identified really the changes are some procedural stuff has changed, a couple identifying terms have come out, and the legal references have changed. But rather than just reverting back to old policies, which is one of the recommendations that have been made, the recommendation she made to the South Bristol board was to go with the MSMA policies, because it's kind of a combination of the best of both of those, the current one and the previous one. You don't lose as much, you maintain more stuff. Their board did opt to table it till August as well. But I shared with you her little cheat notes here that she put, because that'll really give you some information. You have a stack there of policies that are the current MSMA ones with the MSMA verbiage, the little bullet points and bolded informational pieces removed. So if you were to go with those policies, that's what they would look like. We'd obviously have to adopt them in August, and we'd put, Jefferson School Board on the top of them, but that's the ones that you currently have. If you don't have, I believe I shared with you, or they were electronically provided, the MSMA ones, but if you don't have those, I do have some copies of those. If you just want to be able to compare, all it is the bold stuff has been taken out. That's the difference between those. But that's a quite nice little cheat sheet that she created. So I told her I'd be sharing it with all the other boards. Which one don't you have?
Right here. This one.
You don't have that one?
I was just reading along.
There's one. There's another one.
Oh, I lied.
Oh, there's two.
He's buried, sorry.
That's okay. There's a lot of similar looking documents there. It can be easily confusing. On May 13th, I had another final tech meeting down at the Bath Tech Center. If you haven't had a chance to get down there, you really should see that one. For those of you students in Jefferson that go to Lincoln Academy. And if you, Capital area is beautiful as well. So the students, whichever way they decide to go, and I've heard Midcoast is good as well. I haven't seen Midcoast, so I can't speak to that one, but the students that have the opportunities to go to either Augusta or Bath are pretty good opportunities for them.
Where is the one in Augusta?
Right at Coney High School, the new Coney High School.
Oh, it's where it always was. They looked at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where they built a new high school up there. So yeah, just to your board member, and I'm sure they'd be happy. I know Bath definitely would be happy to give tours of their facility. Midcoast Association met on May 15th. We have our final meeting of the year next Friday. And we've had two meetings of the collaboration on cyber safety and youth victimization for communities. That's meets at Lincoln Academy. We met on May 13th. We met yesterday. It's a combination of Lincoln Academy administration, Lindsay, myself for district administration, and a number of law enforcement officials. And it's really trying to get information out to our communities as well as students about the dangers, about cyber safety and all the dangers that there are out there now in that realm. There's going to be community presentations and there's going to be school-based presentations as we move forward. As I said, we just had our second meeting yesterday. We'll have another one before we start a community thing up. And I believe it's going to be down at the theater in Damascotta for the community. And then we'll branch out and do similar things for our local communities and students. But that's still a work in progress as we're working to design that, but certainly something of importance. And then I had as I said, was saying before the meeting, I get to see two of the 4 8th grade promotions, and Jefferson was one of the ones that I got to see on the 4th. And they, I have to say, I was impressed with the presentation, the way the children in particular spoke. Obviously, the way Janet spoke as well,
Oh, great.
but the way the kids spoke, I thought it was really nice, and that was a nice little ceremony. So it took me back to when I used to teach in a K-8 school, and it's fun, sad and fun all at the same time. But so nice job. That's it for me.
I'm gonna pop
Yeah.
back up and have Peter. Are you ready to do your?
Oh.
Awesome.
So the financial report you have in front of you was run today. So it includes the warrant that we ran last week, which is the first of 2 June warrants. So we have one more warrant to run in June. There will be bills that continue to come in for a couple months that get paid against FY25. But we're down to the last of the things that we kind of pushed out of the school, et cetera. You see that there's all kinds of salaries still encumbered that'll run for the teachers through August, et cetera. And we have just under 22,000 left to pay in public tuition bills that we counted up today that are still just coming in for the last months of the publics that we pay. And we have an out-of-district placement to pay in special ed. And we have, like I said, electric bill will come in later, and there's probably one more loose bill, et cetera. But all in all, when I've gone through this and reviewed it, I expect you to have fund balance forward of $600,000 at the end of this year. That's the good news. And what we can do is come back at the August meeting and determine that once we have those finals and we've paid the bills and we see whether it's 580 or 640 or wherever it lands, we can determine how you want to act on that, whether you just roll it forward into your next year's revenue, FY 27's revenue. However, the thing that I want you to be aware of is that the intel I'm getting from both the exiting sped director and the incoming sped director is they look at the incoming kindergarten class and enrollments that are happening as people move into your town, et cetera, is that there may well be more out-of-district placements that are required next year on top of what you already budgeted for. And so we need to watch that, and I think you need to make a plan that in your August meeting, you request a special ed update on that so that you can identify at that time how you want to manage these funds and whether or not there's increased need, or you also know more about how many positions you got filled, et cetera. So I think that as we are perhaps fortunate, I wouldn't really use fortunate because that $600,000 that you will have left over is really because you didn't have the positions filled this year that are causing the increased expenses next year. But the fact is you will have that cash to be able to cover potentially more out-of-district placements that may be coming your way. So I think it's important to look at August as a time that you want all that information, and you'll be getting it mostly from the new sped director. And I just want to kind of prepare you for that, both how this year's closing and what the implications are rolling into next year.
Does anybody have any questions for Peter?
Yes, under student and staff support.
Yep.
We're gonna come up short this year. We're gonna have to transfer money into that section.
Yep.
So you're gonna have to identify
Transfers.
where we're gonna take the 5% here, 5% there to get to this number.
Right, and that's what we'll do with the August meeting, is we'll get the finals on this stuff and make the transfers.
Okay.
Everybody else all set? Peter, do you have anything else?
I really don't. I think that what I described there is important, and we'll watch it every, if there's anything that the board needs to know about in between now and then, because we get more information, I would hope we pass it on to you in a timely fashion. But I just, we got a couple months and then we'll need to decide how to act. So that's all I have.
Yeah, you guys can just keep me updated. I'm over there all the time anyway in town, so if you need stuff I pick up. All right, Janet.
All right,
All right, so I'm all
Thanks,
good,
Peter.
right? Thank you.
sure.
All right, thank you.
So I said May was the month for assessments, and I think June is really the time for celebration and recognition. So we wrapped up with a lot of our field trips and some special events. I thought it was, we didn't have a great turnout, but I liked the idea. We hosted a volunteer appreciation breakfast and invited volunteers, whether it was chaperoning field trips or donating materials or we worked in the classroom, to come on in and just kind of give them a nice recognition breakfast. And we had some people come in. It was really nice to talk to them and thank them for their time and energy and effort this year, and encourage them to get more of their friends to come on in and volunteer here at the school and help out in any way. So that was a great thing to do. Student council recognized our custodial staff with some gifts. They did that through fundraising efforts that they did as a student council group this year. Our chronic absenteeism rate has dropped from last year to this year. We want to keep that on that same, course and continue to have students come every day, because we know if they don't come to school, they're not learning, right? So there's a direct correlation between student absenteeism and how well they do in school. And I thought our grade promotion ceremony went extremely well. I was really proud of all the students that were promoted this year. I had the opportunity to listen to all the students that had speeches, and then the group of students that were hoping to be able to speak at the promotion ceremony. It was really tough to narrow it down to the students that did speak. In theory, we're supposed to have 3, but we had 4. I'm like, why not? So special recognition to some of the students you saw there in the packet for Andrew Zimmerman for the Secretary of State's Citizenship Award. I know Wayne Farren wanted to come, but he was actually in session with the legislature, so he was not able to come. And then to the NELMS, which is the New England League of Middle Schools, recognized Alexis Bernier and Leanne McDonald. So that was really fun to hear us give those awards out along with all the promotion certificates to the students. So I thought it was a great night. I also got a good update about sports, and I haven't found out if the girls won today. I'm hoping they won because they had undefeated season going into the playoffs. The boys did lose yesterday to Great South Bay. This is for baseball and softball, and track had a really successful year as well. I love the piece. I don't know if you have opportunity, but the new fence is in that Mr. Bartlett and all the 8th grade students kind of use that as a hands-on math opportunity, measuring what they needed, cutting, putting together a new fence out there around that community garden. And he wrote up a nice piece about what it means to kind of leave a legacy behind. So I thought it was a great community service that they can be proud of. It'll be there for years to come. And positions in the back, quite a few. So we're still looking at how we're gonna configure our special education department here to best meet the needs of the kids. We do have it posted for functional behavior, functional life skills, resource rooms, some type of combination of both, as well as classroom teachers, head custodian, and as of today,
And,
a regular
Lifetime
custodian
custodian.
as well. I got a letter of resignation today. Kitchen manager, half-time social worker, 8 to 12 special education ed techs, and long-term substitute teachers. Because we have 2 teachers that will be going out. One teacher out on maternity leave and won't be rejoining until November, and another teacher going out in in October through probably February. So those are posted and up. Not too many applications coming in, but we're gonna keep plugging away, sending it out to everybody. So that's what we have there. Transportation's all in service, looking good.
Yeah.
All right.
Old business
The only thing we had on there was about the budget approval pending, obviously, what happens tonight.
today?
So hopefully, I don't know, do you get contacted by someone?
Nope.
I'll send you a text. Peter's supposed to let me know.
Okay.
Someone lets him know. So as soon as I hear anything, I'll
Okay.
let you know. And if you want to let the rest of the board know, you
Yep,
can.
I can do that.
I don't know what polls probably close around 8, I'm assuming. So usually in my previous districts, it's hand count. So usually in my previous districts, it takes a couple hours anyways. So I wouldn't expect to hear anything before 10 o'clock. But if I hear anything, if you don't hear anything from me, I didn't hear anything.
That's fine.
But I'll remind Peter on my way out of
Okay.
here that he was going to let me know. So if he hears something, I should hear something. If I hear something, you should hear something.
Sounds good. New business?
Yeah, just the couple quick things there. The central office summer hours, we'll be posting those again, similar to what we've done in the past. We go to 4 10-hour days. The office will be open 4 days a week, 6 hours a day. And then Fridays, for those staff who don't want to work a 10-hour day, they want to stay with their regular 5/8, they can come in and work that Friday. It's just there won't be open office hours during that time. HR has also identified two days and windows of time where specifically staff who may have questions or concerns can come in and sit down directly with them as well. We haven't done that in the past, so that's new. So those hours will start next week, I believe, either next week or the week after. And then summer hiring, you just heard the list that Janet went through. We know the challenges we've been facing, especially over here in Jefferson, as far as filling positions. We really can't wait when we get a candidate. So if we have to tell someone they're going to have to wait till the month of August, they're just going to go someplace else. So in the past, boards have authorized superintendents to do the hiring. Can I sit here and tell you technically that's legal? No, I can't. Could you empower me, I guess, to offer them the position over the month of July and then make it official at your August meeting? You could. Or we could just call meetings whenever we have to. And you just heard all the vacancies, so can't guarantee when those positions will be, when we'll get candidates and we can fill them, but we could call the board in to meet anytime we have candidates. But like I said, I think if we tell someone that we're going to hire them, but they're going to have to wait 3 weeks for official approval, I think we run the risk of losing them, and we really can't do that here. So I don't know what the board's preference is, what it's been and how you've done it in the past, or.
Well, I think in the past, it's always worked out that we've had the luxury of waiting until like our August meeting.
And I think in the past too, we've also had like a board member that doesn't work. So it's
Right.
been easier to try to grab people to get together than
Right,
it is
I
to
know
try
Lindsay
to,
did a couple times,
Yeah.
like just enough people together.
right.
Yeah, we've had special.
It's just harder to do when you've got a
As long
board
as
of
we get-
five that
as long
all
as we
My
get-
works.
schedule for the summer, it's strict in the fall, but I can loosey-goosey, as long as my card doesn't. I can make probably meetings if I get my heads up.
Like for interviews or for
Yeah.
approvals, you mean?
Yeah, for whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't even talking interviews, I was talking
Right,
approvals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
approvals,
Yeah.
we changed that, remember, to instead of must have a board member, it
Yeah.
would be like when possible, we could certainly have a board member on the interviewing.
Right.
But this is more like, hey, we've all approved your hiring, sign us on the line, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have a problem with giving the authority to Todd to hire somebody. and just
Temporarily until
Temporarily
August.
until we can approve everything in August, but I don't know how the rest of you feel.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either, given the circumstances. I mean, I can't think of a time we've ever not hired
I
somebody.
can't, well, and
that
I can't
the
think of a time when we
superintendent has
wouldn't want to grab a
recommended.
body in here.
Knock on
like-
wood, it's never happened to me in my nominations, but you never know.
Right.
But I can't imagine that we wouldn't want to get a body in here either. So if you have
Right.
somebody and you're going to hire, that like having us come and approve the hire is not.
What I
not
will
gonna say
do,
no.
what I can do is I can inform the board. I can,
Okay.
certainly I'll be
Yep.
in direct communication
Yep.
with you, but I can just send out emails to the
Yeah,
entire
that'd be
board
great.
Yep.
and just say, just so you'll
Let us
know,
know.
we interviewed
Mhm.
X, whoever it is, for a position, and I'm intending to offer them a contract. To be made official, obviously.
Mhm. Yeah, that would be
Technically, I
good.
get them to sign, it's official, but,
Yeah, that would
and
be
then
good.
to cover our bases, the board can just approve them
Yep.
all in August.
Yep.
And then, as I said, we don't know, hopefully, everything will go well at the polls tonight, but we may have to meet in the month of
Yep.
July, depending on how things happen, so.
Okay.
Right now, we're hoping we won't have to meet in July, but you never know.
So, would you need a motion on that, you suppose?
Yeah, probably that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Working on that.
Yeah. Some fashion. I move to authorize the superintendent to offer staffing contracts to candidates.
Over the months of June and July.
Over the month, yeah, June and July. As he deems suitable.
June, July, well, until the next. August
Yeah,
meeting.
until the next August meeting.
Yeah.
Say deems appropriate.
Sounds good.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Is that 5-0?
Yeah.
Okay. Policy, do you, as policy chair, would you like to speak to that, or?
We received a whole bunch of policies tonight. We want to take our time to read through them, read all the different viewpoints from different people. We're going to, Todd's going to send out a survey to kind of see how things work with people's schedules. But we're probably more than likely going to be meeting in the evenings. Daryl can't get the time off to do like a whole day workshop type thing, so we'll probably work in the evenings, so.
Once I get that schedule, I can share that. Obviously, we can't have more than the 2 board members that are on that
Right.
committee there, because then we'd have a quorum, but we can
Yeah.
keep you up to speed. The policies that I gave them today, and I was talking to some of you about it before. I don't know if everyone's sitting here, but those are those Title IX policies that we've been talking about. Remember, originally, I said just go back, the recommendation was to go back to your prior policies back prior to 2022, which is what Great Salt Bay did. But then MSMA came out with some language that's a little bit different from your previous policies. It's somewhere in the middle, I would say, between what currently is now, what there was, and what these are. That is the route that South Bristol has opted to take. You do have a little cheat sheet there in your folder. I think I said all stuff, didn't I, during my superintendent's report? You've already heard. So you can look that over. But I don't see any harm with waiting to table those until the month of August.
All right. Did anybody have anything else they want to talk about? These are both mine, right? Both to do the
No, one's informational and
One
then
is for you.
one's
Okay,
me.
let's do that one first then.
Yep, that's the informational confidential records
Okay,
one. So we just need a motion.
Can I have a motion to enter into one MRSA 4056F information and confidential records, discussion or review of? All in favor?
So we'll go into executive session at 6:25
Go in and
I
do
motion,
that.
Andy second.
Thank you very much.
p.m. So we gotta close the door and we gotta stop the recording.
Are we rebooting anybody?
All right, so we're out at 6:41 p.m.
Yep, and can I have a motion to enter into executive session one MRSA 4056A evaluation of officials, appointees, employees?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
So we'll go back in at 6:41 p.m. And I will stop this.